It's Ninja time! Hello, welcome to another figure review. Today we're gonna have a look at the Revoltech Amazing Yamaguchi Ryu Hayabusa from Ninja Gaiden 2. And they just recently announced a new one in the series, so coincidence? I think not. That being said, Ryu Hayabusa is the main protagonist in his own series of Ninja Gaiden games, which started all the way back on the NES and was later brought back on the Xbox. And from there on out, went on to our different consoles. And he's also one of the main characters in the Dead or Alive fighting game series. And it's always been a big favorite because this is like the big badass Hollywood ninja, all black, big muscly arms, and a little bit of silver, a bunch of cool gadgets, and the games are kicking ass. So let's have a look at the figure. Size of the Hayabusa, not the motorcycle. He stands at about 16 centimeters, that is, to the top of his head. I misread, it's not 18, it's 16. And for your inches, we're going up to 6.3 inches tall. Size comparisons.
Here's Jolter, Sage Figure Arts Son Goku, Figma Kasumi, Amazing Yamaguchi Supergirl, Mafak Psylocke, and Darkseid.
Overall look and detail, it's Amazing Yamaguchi, so you gotta be prepared to what you're getting into. So Amazing Yamaguchi, they're always a little bit more wonky when it comes to proportions, and also some parts of the articulation do stick out like a sore thumb, but it's really there to make him move in very dynamic poses. And I think it does a little bit of both here. So first and foremost, looking at him aesthetically, the only thing that really bothers me looking at him from the front is like, I feel like he has a little bit stubby legs. Legs are like really long in the games, and I mean they're muscly, but compared to like the torso length, you know, it's just there should be a little bit more. So other than that, this figure looks like a mess from the front, but then you put it in some cool pose from the side and whatnot, and it looks a lot more menacing. But let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's have a look at the detail on the face sculpt. Man, the crown part of his mask is really nicely done. The molding on it really makes it pop, really has a lot of cool detail in it. And it fits. It's not too shiny, but still shiny enough to really stick out in this entire sea of black. Eyes, from what I can tell, are movable. I'm not really the biggest fan of the movable eyes. I think that takes some of the coolness factor in there. They're quite bright, but minor feature. Then we have the nicely molded mask. Everything on here is molded. Like, you have the texturing on there, so it doesn't look like plain cloth. But there's actually some stuff going on in it. The way it's engineered on the head is kind of weird, but it works. Once again, it's like the Amazing Yamaguchi style. Then you have the big scarf in the back. Out of everything with the articulation, they only could have one ball hinge over there, and not two to move them separately. No. Then we have the entire chest area has a lot of belts and the neoprene suit under there. Again, the chest might be a little bit wonky, but really depending on how you move the chest, since you have these joints over there. If you pull it all the way out, it looks a little bit better than it looks when you pull it together. And then we have the joints sticking out on his big shoulders. That is something that I really don't like, and I really should have really done a little bit better of a job trying to hide those, because they don't. So that's that. There's some more detail in the forearm. Actually nice metallic silver on it. Silver looks really clean. Again, it doesn't pop too much, just the right amount. Then for his big chest area, let's have another look at that. We have the muscles under there, and the rubber looks a lot, not too glossy, but you know, it's supposed to be leather. Then we have his butt. It's butt time. Also has a hole over his butt and a hole in the back, so you can choose. Here we have one of his weapons which disconnected. Can I get that back in there? Yes. So we do have those, also like in a darker metallic. Those look really clean. And down to his muscly legs and some more armor details. The Ninja Tabi in full effect. Yeah, I mean, overall, as far as detail goes, this figure is no slouch, and it really brings the look of Ryu to life. Now for your articulation. All I can say is, even though stuff is wonky, it's fun to pose. I'm gonna start off with the ball hinge in the back, so you can bring that back and forth. The scarf, by the way, is not floaty, it's connected in the front, but you still have some wiggle motion if you just push on some of the joints. Then we have the head sculpt. It is connected in a ball joint, and we have like a long peg. So we have this, which is super nimble, goes forward and back, and also does tilt side to side, and does rotate also, without really breaking up the look too much. Sure, you have a little bit of gaps on the side, but that's not bad. And then you have the long ball peg in the neck area. So combining these two, you're getting some really cool forward-looking poses. Backward, if you know, he's jumping, flying through the air. And then we have the big, ugly ball hinges in the shoulder area, ending on another ball joint. It's like a Figma, but, you know, not really well hidden. And also the joints are nice and crispy as far as keeping the pose, even though they're making this really ugly noise. So I'm going to stop now. But yeah, you do have, since you do have all the room in the world, I mean, I'm just showing you, you can move the arms super far forward. And you know, in a pose like that, the weird elbow joints don't matter because you don't see them. And the fact that you can do that is pretty nice. Then we have a swivel. This one's blocked, so let's try the swivel over here. And then we have another, okay, and then it just pops off. Swivel a little bit too hard. Well, anyway, you know what? Then we have a ball hinge in the elbow, makes the same squeaky noise. Can be rotated on both sides. Doesn't really cover up as well as I would like, but look at how far it goes up, so that's pretty cool. And then you can also, like, the rotation adds a little bit more, throwing the ninja stars and whatnot, throwing punches. Nothing in the forearm, but that's fine, I guess. You would have cut this up. Then we have, well, is this floaty? Yeah, this is just floaty, soft plastic. And for the fist, we do just have a ball hinge, goes back and forth, and can be swiveled. No issue there. Then we go for the chest area. What do we have in the chest area? We have these joints on the side. I don't know what I even call them, but you can bring that all the way back. You can bring it to the front. That helps out with some cool posing. And then for the entire torso, I'm just going to combine. So you have a point in the chest area, and you have the lower half on the hip part. That arches really nicely to the back, goes forward an amazing amount, and then the upper part does also tilt side to side and the lower half. And if you combine these two, goes to this side, goes to the other side, can be swiveled. It's not really, I wouldn't push it all the way, but still an amazing amount. And the lower half swivels all the way around. Crotch piece is soft plastic as such. We do have some nice high kicks. Goes out to the side, no problem, and also goes to the back. Then we have a thigh swivel, big one, and then just a hinge on the knee. It looks kind of wonky, but I guess they did it good enough to the point where it doesn't really stick out as weirdly as it sometimes it would. And just the way, you know, you have this hollowed out a little bit over here, so you can bring it all the way up. And then for the lower half of the boot, you have this one, this piece, this entire piece of the shoe is on a ball, which you do kind of have a double hinge knee, like the extra part, the extra effort to that. So you can bring that back and forth, and you can swivel it around, and you can a little bit tilt it side to side, but doesn't have the most room. Then we have another swivel before we get to the hinge, the ball hinge on the foot. So you can bring that up and down, and you can also tilt it side to side, and the toe hinge moves all the way up. Accessories! First and foremost, you have the Figma base. Well, I said Figma. The Revoltech base. I'm so used to it, but it's kind of like a Figma base. Have the different arms, have a claw. So you can connect the guy on there with the claw if you want to, but I'm not going to do that. So then we have the hands. We have the ninpo hands. These for the posers, open hands, and a special grabby hand for the sword. And then the other ones are a little bit more open, so you can hold on to other things. And there's like the open hands. There's like another ninpo. I'm just calling it ninpo hand. If that's incorrect, let me know. But this one has a little bit of an opening, so you can slide the shuriken in there. And then we have another open hand. So there's that. Here's the shurikens, the ninja stars, which are nice metallic if the camera would focus on it. I don't know what's going on, but holy crap, really? You suck. Okay, anyway, there we go, ninja stars. Simple stuff, but effective. And we also have this to move his eyes around. Not a fan of that, but it's a feature. Then we have the boots. Yes, we have different boots. Still have the ball hinge on the lower hand. But yeah, now we have claws on there, and I love the fact that they integrated that. By the way, this piece is connected just via a pack. I thought it was a ball in there, but it's just a pack with like a hinge. It's kind of weirdly connected, but there's some wiggle room. That's why you can move it side to side, but still. Love this piece. I also have the claws. Same thing, you get an entirely different forearm. And they put the hands just on swivels this time around. I don't mind, it's nice for stability. Also the claws, they are not the hardest type of plastic, so there's a little bit of wiggle motion, but you know, if this guy takes a shelf dive or whatnot, pretty sure they're still gonna break off. But you know, good that they didn't make it out of like super hard plastic, that it just breaks off at first sight. But overall, good looking claws. And then we have, well, let me get through this weird scythe chain combination. The paint job on it is beautiful. Now if you have like the brighter metallic on the side and it then goes into like a darker in the middle, good stuff. Also nice mold with the dragon tail wrapping around it, and we do have real chain with this kind of morning stuff thing. I don't know what you call this weapon. If this has a name, please let me know down in the comments, but this kind of morning star looking thing, also nice and metallic. For such a small thing, it has a nice amount of heft to it. You can spin it around and throw it into your little brother's eye. Don't do that. Anyway, we do have his katana, obviously, in this with the scabbard. Katana has a nice red handle with a little bit of like a blue gem on top, metallic, and some gold. Really classic look. And then the scabbard, sheath, whatever you want to call it, black and gold, and like a different piece on here with a ball hinge, which you can remove, but we don't have a pack to just kind of pack it in this back, which I think is weird. But other than that, you can take it off this whole thing, but I really don't want to push it too hard. Recommend taking a hairdryer, but yeah, can just hold the scabbard without this entire contraption, and there you go. Final thoughts! It's fun. Like, this figure, I know, I said it, some people might look at it and be like, ugh, looks ugly. And I agree with you, but this is not part of the experience when you're playing around with Amazing Yamaguchi, because the accessories are amazing, and most importantly, the articulation is just, yeah, amazing as Amazing Yamaguchi. Ha! But no, seriously, I just have fun folding this guy up like a pretzel, putting in all kinds of cool poses, and that's something I think you really want to have in like a Ryu Hayabusa, like, you know, a nimble ninja type character. There's barely anything you can't do with this figure when it comes to cool poses. That's why I took so many of them this time around, because I just had fun. And you know, we talk about all the accessories, we talk about the value, we talk about the paint, which is good, by the way. I don't have anything to complain about the overall execution of it, but I rarely talk about just how much fun I have with a figure, and this is one of them. Joints are tight, joints are nice and easy, and you don't have to fear that you're gonna break something off. It's just fun to play around and to handle, and that's why I'm gonna recommend this figure. That's gonna do it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, if you enjoyed this review, hit it up with a like and subscribe to the channel so you can stay tuned for more figure reviews, card game stuff, and whatever Ryu Hayabusa wants.